Yeah, so okay, we're live. Hello.
It is alive.
We are live. Okay, now I get to check on Facebook to make sure we're good. Cool. So, you and I talk a lot anyway because we're good friends, but this is a good time when everybody's stuck at home. I know I've spent a lot of extra time on social media and, just for my own sanity to connect to people, say hello, find out what everyone's doing, but also business has changed. I can't go to the gym that I used to use. And there's a lot of people that are. My brother is a social worker. He got furloughed, but only like a little bit. So he's working like half the time. There's other people that can't work because they got furloughed entirely, or they got laid off, or they got to work from home. And people are trying to adapt and find strategies on how they can create maybe extra income, or what are some of the options that they can do during this quarantine and this new world that we live in, because it's really not going to ever be the same again. So that's what we're going to talk about. What are some of the strategies? What are some ideas? And I know that you've got lots of them, huh? Do you want to share some of the things that you were telling me a minute ago?
Well, you know, I have friends of mine that have worked in the restaurant industry who are now working with Favor. And one of my girlfriends is making $200 a week doing that.
So
Uh,
what is that?
Favor is I actually just used it for the first time. I had never heard of it before. I mean, I've heard of Uber Eats.
Oh, okay.
They'll go to like my favorite fast food place, which I hate admitting, is Whataburger.
Is that a Texas place?
Or they'll go to a nice restaurant that you like, and you order food and they deliver it to you.
Okay, we have Postmates and we have some other ones. I don't think I ever heard of that one. But
So it's like, I think it's like Postmates, but Favor, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. And the other day, so last Friday we had game night, remember?
yeah,
And
which
I
I
didn't, and
kicked
it
that.
was raining, and I didn't want to leave the house to go to the store. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna download Favor because I heard it because my girlfriend drives for them now. A couple of my friends drive for them now. And downloaded it, entered all my information. I ordered everything I wanted from Whole Foods. I ordered some grass-fed beef and which I don't really particularly like, but I ordered it. Some grapes, some Ace pear cider. I had this whole list. It gave me the estimate of what it would cost, along with the delivery fee and the tip. And yeah, so I get a knock on my door, and there's my order, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I know a lot of people are doing stuff like that. I have a couple of other friends of mine that got furloughed a couple of weeks ago, and one of my girlfriends is now working for Discover Card because she can work from home and take phone calls.
Yeah.
I know that's another thing. I know people are doing some freelance. I wrote a couple of things down, doing some freelancing work, finding a remote job, where you just need a phone or an iPad or a computer. Data entry is another one that people are doing as well. And, I think this whole quarantine and being on lockdown, it sounds weird saying it out loud, is forcing a lot of people it's forcing me to get more creative, and I've been working from home for 22 years.
So yeah, I did want to ask you to share a little bit of your story for anybody that's watching that doesn't know you like I do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My story.
Yeah.
So I when I was 25 years, I think I was 25 years old. Or 23, I don't remember. I forget. I was in a place where I had a child. Technically, I was a single mom because I wasn't married at the time. Um, and I had almost 4 years of college, but never finished. I had started off wanting to get a degree in computer science. And then after being in a classroom with a bunch of geeks, I was like, which they were cool geeks. Okay. They were cool.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
I just could not see myself doing that for like a career, sitting in front of a computer all day long. And then it was hard. I mean, I'm like, I don't think my brain, like, I'm on overload right now. And I really didn't want to know. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life as far as careers go. And so I took a year off of school. And as most of us know, you take a year off of school, and most people don't go back to school.
Yeah.
So I never went back. And in the meantime, I was taking jobs in the restaurant business, you know, as a waitress and as a host, and made a lot of money. I mean, you can make, my brother, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. I'm not going to say what he made last year. My brother's a bartender at the JW Marriott here at the resort here in town. I can't believe how much money he made last year.
Well, think about alcohol prices.
Almost 6 figures.
Yeah. Alcohol is like marked up at an extraordinary price. And most people will at least tip $1 per drink, right? Maybe more nowadays.
Oh, at that particular resort, people with money go to that bar.
Yeah, so they're hooking it up.
You know, so
whatever reason,
wait tables at the most expensive restaurant resort that you could possibly work at.
It's amazing the psychology of it, because people will be really cheap in certain areas of their life, but they see nothing wrong with, like, even on coffee and alcohol, spending what, 1,000% markup. I mean, I'm making up a number, but you know, it's so much more than what the product itself costs, and then being willing to tip for the person who just poured it for you or brought it to you. It's a really interesting social thing, but it can be a career. I don't think everyone thinks about that.
No, they don't. And I know my dad used to get really upset. I know he'll never watch this. My dad's already wanted to sue me like a handful of times. Kidding, but he has said it. I'm going to sue you, Monica, for posting that on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, sure, Dad. But I know he'll never see this. But it used to really bother me because he would say things like, you know, I don't know why you kids are working in the restaurant business as waiters and bartenders, and, you know, well, it's really good money and I get a lot of time off. Like, you know, there's a lot of freedom in that, you know. Again, I think working in the restaurant business is a very honorable it's a career for a lot of people. There are career waiters that are out there. They'll never do anything else. Some of them some of them are very good friends of mine. And it's ridiculous the amount of money they make working at Morton Steakhouse or Ruth's Chris, you know. But my dad used to always get on us because he, in my opinion, has looked down on us people that have waited tables and worked in the restaurant industry. Like, you need to go get a real job. I have a real job. I get a paycheck every week.
That's a really interesting point too, is that people's values around different types of work and money itself, right? I shared the cash quadrants image yesterday, because in personal training world, in fitness, most trainers that work for themselves don't understand that concept a lot. So there's the values of, this is a good kind of job, even though like if you've watched Mike Rowe and Dirty Jobs, he talks about there's a lot of really high paying jobs that maybe don't have the same level of prestige, but you can have a really nice life.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're willing to do that stuff.
Because it also comes down to, it's not how much money you make. It's how wise you are with your money and how much you get to keep, and understanding the tax laws. And most Americans do not understand the tax laws. And people want to get mad at the rich. They're making so much money, they should be paying for my car. You know, what's that one chick? I'm going to have to post her video. I posted it years ago. It was this girl, this college student, And she was featured on all these major news networks because she wanted the government to pay off everybody's school debt and pay it for everybody's school.
Yeah, there's still people that want to do that. And that's example of the people that don't understand debt and don't understand tax and the way everything is structured. But go on.
Um, so anywho, it wasn't that I thought that it was outrageous. I mean, I think if I owed 50,000 or 100,000 to the government in school loans, that would be a really awesome. That would be great for somebody to come bail me out of a school loan. Okay, so I'm not against that. But again, who's going to pay for it, right? Who's paying for that bailout?
It ain't free. Even the stimulus. This is not
No.
free money, people.
No, it's not.
Like, yeah.
And anyway, what was your question?
We kind of went down, we started going down different tangents because we were talking about the restaurant business and how it can be really profitable, but then also how your dad, who has maybe a more traditional view of what is considered a, you know, a prestigious job versus being a little more, I don't know how I would phrase it, but being open to the fact that there's other ways of making money, whether it be different careers, different jobs. And
Yeah.
if you're willing to learn about taxes, or if you're willing to learn about the way things work,
Okay,
build a nice life for yourself. And you were telling your story. So we've kind of gone boom, 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 boom.
I'll get into that, but
typically how
I
we
think this
consider.
is really important. You know, I think a lot of people get hung up. Again, you know, you talked about your values, on what type of. I think people get hung up on titles
Yes.
because we have a major need for significance in this world, especially on the online social media world, where your title, if you have the word doctor in front of your name, it sounds really, really awesome, right? If you're the president of your company, it sounds really, really cool. But you know, having waitress in front of my name doesn't sound as cool as doctor. But again, you know, I always come back to is, you know, what I learned from Robert Kiyosaki, and you sharing the cash flow quadrant. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. So here I was, 25 years old, broke. Let me read the correct term because I've known it as food stamps. But it's called the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Benefits. God, that's so long.
So you were on that.
I was on government. Yes, I was on a government assistance. I was on food stamps.
Wow.
For about a year, and that was tough. That was tough because I was so financially destitute. I didn't know how I was even going to pay for diapers sometimes. I didn't know how I was going to pay for food sometimes. Thank goodness that, I'm going to get emotional.
It's okay.
My grandmother lived about 5 minutes away from me, and she would feed us. You know, we would go to her house almost every day. I would go over there to have lunch or dinner. And I'm very grateful that I had help during that time. And I had some, you know, my parents, you know, would watch my son while I would go wait tables at Planet Hollywood, which was great money, by the way, because I worked on the Riverwalk. It was awesome money. But it was hard being away from my son. And so I had already, when I was 18 years old, I had a taste of Mary Kay. But it didn't excite me. Playing around with cosmetics and eyeshadow and all that stuff. Although there is something that I'm going to purchase later on today that I'm really excited about, they're eyelashes. But I wasn't excited about doing home parties.
Yeah.
Where a lot of women got together to put makeup on. It just didn't appeal to me.
So I didn't mind the products, but it wasn't a business you wanted to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, great stuff. The company is awesome. I mean, I have a lot of respect for women in that business because of what I know about the industry now. It's a lot of hard work in that business. Then at 19 years old, I had moved to South Dakota, these friends of mine invited this friend of mine that I worked at Sears with. I used to be a window treatment specialist. She invited me out to this convention center and tells me, you're going to meet a lot of amazing people, and I get to connect you with. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I need to meet more people because I kind of hate people, and this would be good for me. So I go out there and I'm like, this is a stadium full of people in business attire spraying these breath sprays in the air instead of clapping. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I think is this a cult? Like, seriously, I don't know what I just walked into. I don't even know it's an Amway event. By the way, I didn't know it was an Amway event until people get on stage and start talking and sharing these amazing stories of how they went from, you know, being in debt to a drug dealer and having their family threatened, to becoming these six-figure earners in their Amway business. And I'm like, you could earn $100,000 or more in Amway? Shut up. I was like, this is amazing. And then I saw them in these amazing gowns and tuxedos. And so, I mean, everything from doctors and, I mean, we're talking about prestigious titles here doing network marketing. And I'm like, if a doctor can do this and it's good enough for a doctor, it's good enough for a freaking waitress or a window treatment specialist. Okay. So I joined Amway. I learned a lot, but I had so much fear of rejection, and we can talk about that on another video.
We should, because I've had that too. So wait, you were in Mary Kay and Amway.
Yeah, I played around with Mary Kay because of a lady, that's a whole nother story for another day, Tom. But yeah, I dabbled with the Mary Kay. I didn't really move forward in that because it wasn't something I was really interested or passionate about. I wasn't passionate about cosmetics. And then Amway, what got me fired up about that was it was the stories. It was the stories. I mean, look at infomercials. When you watch an infomercial about okay, I'm just going to pick on this one product, Bare Mineral makeup, which I do wear Bare Minerals. Words that I hear are, I feel pretty again. And then they're crying. I always felt ugly, and now I feel pretty. And it's like, I think every woman that resonates with everybody. At some point, all of us feel ugly. I don't care how pretty you are.
Everybody is conscious of their image at some point.
Yes, and so it's the storytelling of these persons that are trying to sell you something on these infomercials on TV. Everything from psycho insane workouts, you know, or whatever they're called, insanity, to Bare Minerals, to buying a vacuum cleaner, to buying a curling iron, you know. And it was like watching infomercials cross stage, and it really got me. I was tired of feeling the pain of living paycheck to paycheck. Learned a lot, didn't really do much with that. So fast forward, I moved to San Antonio. I'm waiting tables with my brother at a restaurant called Papacitos. And my brother tells me, oh, you need to meet this guy named Brian Penrod. He's so awesome, blah, 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 blah. You know, he does Amway too. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I meet Brian, we get to know each other, and he enrolls me in his Amway business. So not only did I enroll once, I did it twice. Because I'm a firm believer in this industry, because it freaking works. And then, you know, we didn't really have much success with Amway. And I kind of got burnt out. I came to the conclusion that, okay, people that wait tables, like, we're nobody. Like, we just wait tables. There's nothing special about us. Therefore, people like us cannot build a big business in this industry. And I'm going to get my charger. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. That's a great example of just values that, and you can still hear me. Yeah, that people have that maybe are not even their own way of thinking. It's just something they learn from other people, or a way of thinking that they keep on perpetuating because that's how everybody thinks, rather than learning how to think for yourself and learning to value yourself, regardless of whether you have that doctor in your title or even when you have a unusual career path.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, um, yeah, my best friend worked in the oil field for many years, climbs towers now, flies every single week. He's, you know, he's gone every single week, you know, home on the weekends. He climbs towers, but he has zero debt, you know, and he doesn't have a degree, and he makes excellent money. And when I started making money in this industry, shortly, you know, after we got started, Brian then comes to me, you know, because I got burnt out, and I'm like, I'm going to go back to school to get a real job. So I went back to school. Well, technically I didn't. I enrolled and registered at the University of Texas here in San Antonio. And get this, I was going to have my school paid for.
Wow.
But I decided not to go.
Ballsy.
And I was going to study microbiology and infectious diseases.
Very interesting. Right now.
Well, I've had many dreams in my life. One of them, I always thought it would be cool to work in a level 4 CDC with viruses. And so anyways, right after I enrolled and registered, Brian comes to me and he's like, look, I found something that is awesome and I'm joining it. And I'm like, well, what is it? And he's like, it's this company called USANA Health Sciences. And this is a company I'm going to build with. This is a company that I'm going to make over $1 million with. And I was like, good luck, buddy. I mean, that was my attitude. Like, I'm like, are you crazy? People like us don't make money in these things. And he's like, well, I'm going to do this with or without you. And I was like, I still remember when he said that to me, because that kind of like was like, wait, what? You're going to do this with or without me? And I'm like, well, good luck. You're not going to make any money. Okay. Because you're a waiter. And I'm not going to take the product. So don't ask me to, because I'm not going to go around selling vitamins. Like again, I didn't know anything about it yet, right? Yeah. I have this image, okay, USANA is a vitamin company. I'm going to have to go door to door selling vitamins. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's beneath me. I'm not going to go door to door. Like, you know, but because I didn't have the full picture, because I hadn't read anything, I hadn't seen anything, I had this preconceived idea of what I thought USANA and network marketing was. I'm not going to do it. And then what happened was the first check he got was more money in a week than I made waiting tables in a whole month.
Wow.
So my mind was a little bit more open. I'm like, oh,
holy shit. Yeah.
Cool. And then he's like, you know what? You can come home. He's like, why don't you go ahead and come home and you can be a full-time mom. And I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. And so that's what I did. So I was able to quit my job waiting tables at Planet Hollywood and come home. And then a year later, he was able to quit his career, because he was not only waiting tables on the weekends, but Brian was also working with a company called Lanier, if I remember correctly. And they're a transcription and dictation equipment company. So he would sell those products to doctors' offices. So he quit that career and waiting tables a year after. So we've been full-time with USANA since 1999, I believe.
Wow. Yeah, 21 years then.
Yeah, we got started July of 1998.
Dang.
That's amazing. So when I was able to come home, he was like, well, I really need your help building this business. And I'm like, I'm going to school, dude. And I decided to just take a leap of faith. I'm like, okay. And my family thought I was crazy. What? You're not going to go to school? You're going to build a you're going to build a network marketing company. Like, how dumb could you be?
Yeah, and that happens a lot, not just
Go
in,
get a real job, mija.
it is amazing how many people um, express their opinions about things like that. And they are not a shining example of a better way to do it, but they're dead set in why things are going to go wrong or not going to work.
Yeah. And and believe me, not everybody's cut out for this industry. I mean, I'm not cut out to be a doctor. Okay. Like, I'm not cut out to be a dentist. Like, I would never be a dentist. Like
I
that.
think it's gross to be a dentist to
Oh,
have
I think it's for sure gross. Like,
yeah.
I could not even I couldn't do it. Now, I couldn't say I couldn't. I choosing not to. I mean, if I had to, I would, but I would not want to do that profession. I wouldn't want to be a restaurant owner because I was in that industry for many years. That is one of the toughest businesses to be in. And I have a lot of respect and admire people that have started their own restaurant because it is a very tough business to stay in. And most of those businesses go out of business within 2 to 5 years.
I think that's considered the hardest industry to create a successful business in, the restaurant business.
It's tough. I mean, yeah, it's a very tough industry. And the hours are just crazy. If you're especially if, you may be the owner and not have to be there every day, but if you're like a general manager, I mean, the hours are just ridiculous, So yeah, and the interesting thing about Braun and I is that, we didn't know tons and tons of people way back then. I wasn't skilled in, first of all, I hate selling. I still hate selling. I don't like doing it. But when my family saw an improvement in their health, and after person that Brian was introducing to the products were seeing amazing health benefits, and then I saw the benefits in my own body. I was like, wait a minute, even if I never made another cent in this business, if I never made a cent in USANA, I would still recommend the products to people, and I still do.
That's how I feel. Because I've been made to take vitamins. I say made because when I was a kid, I'm thankful for it now. My parents were all about eating. I had my mom cooked dinner. We had to sit down. I had to eat my vegetables. My dad would sit at the table and wait until I ate my broccoli, and then I had to take Flintstones and vitamins since I can remember. And then it just continued even when I went to college and stuff. I would buy vitamins. And then even when I was a trainer, I took tons of different supplements. And then when I had a gym, we bought all kinds of different ones. And I've just taken them because I know that they help me, but I've never felt it in the way I did until I took USANA. So, I'm very sensitive because I've been taking different products. I'm aware of my body, maybe a lot more than a lot of people, but after a week, I was like, what? Can't believe how much.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, is the interesting thing about our particular business is most people are already taking supplements. Most people are drinking protein shakes every day, or a meal replacement shake, or a protein or meal replacement bars. They're taking vitamin D during the corona. They're taking vitamin C during the corona. If you're over 40, you're taking memory tablets. If you are freaking full of anxiety and depression and who knows what else, you're taking 5-HTP. I wish, everybody's taking something, or you're giving it to your kids, right? And so, I love that in our business, we get to eat our inventory, right? I get to eat my overhead. And it's a turnkey business, I mean, I can't imagine my brother and I have thought about opening up a small restaurant because of our background and just the kind of people that we are. I mean, everybody loves my brother.
Well, and everybody loves you too. You're very social. At least that's how I know you.
You like me, Tom, but I'm very, I'm very strong in what I believe in, and some people don't like that, and that's okay. But my brother worked very well together. My brother and I work very well together. And the times that we've kind of sat down and talked about opening up a restaurant and what kind of food and what the environment would look like and the culture and what the location. And it's like, okay, rent downtown is like an average of 10 grand a month for a restaurant.
You can't eat that. That's gone every month. You can't sell that either, right?
Oh,
At
the
least we can
lighting,
sell our rent. We can sell it. Yeah.
the food, then you have to pay your wait staff, your host, I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know, I'm like, I have to have a high-end restaurant. Like I'd have to be a professional chef or hire a professional, I mean, like, you know, like the best of the best and charge outrageous prices like Morton Steakhouse. You know, charge $150 for a porterhouse, you know, steak. It's ridiculous. It's yeah. So no, I scratch that. And there's too many liabilities. There's so many liabilities when you have your own business, you know, whether it's lawn care, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a clothing store, somebody comes in, slips, busts their head on the floor, and you could be out of business the next week, you know?
Oh, and when I owned a gym, plumbing. Can I just tell you, when I have bathrooms
Oh my
where a
God,
lot of people are
yeah.
using the bathroom, women, you know, putting stuff down the toilet that shouldn't go down the toilet was one that happened a few times. And to get that fixed can be, you know, a couple $1,000s sometimes, because it messes up the entire system of this building. Yeah, or somebody threw a rock through one of our windows once, and that was our responsibility at the business to fix it. So that, and this was like special glass, it was big, you know, all that kind of stuff. Headaches.
Yeah, lots of yeah. I think it's great. I mean, there's so many amazing businesses out there, especially small businesses, you know, locally in our communities. But for me, you know, and a lot of people laugh at this industry, you know, I mean, I'm just going to put it out. We all know it, you know, everybody knows it, you know, you may not be saying it to you may be my friend watching this, not saying it to my face, but laughing like, oh my God, I can't believe Monica Penrod does network marketing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, you know, that anybody could do. Go back and get a real job, right?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, it's interesting because, first of all, it's such a big industry. There's so many people that are joining and partnering with these types of businesses every single week. They're legitimate, you know, and there's so many benefits to having a business like this. I mean, it cost us less than $1,000. Okay, I think it was about 700 and some change to get started in our business 22 years ago. Less than $1,000. If I was to go open up a restaurant, it cost me at least with the bare minimum, at least 50,000 to over 100,000.
Buy all the equipment to cook
We're
on.
talking about a cheap small restaurant.
Yeah,
Okay?
I know. We spent on the gym, we spent 60 grand, and we've got it made in China. So we bought it for like a fifth of the cost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that was just out of the question. I'm like, I don't have, like, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Like, nobody's going to loan me at the time. And there's no way I could even get a loan. I don't even have the expertise to own a business, you know? So for me, network marketing, when I sit down with people and I ask them, you know, what are their options? You know, I've sat down with people who've just left their careers. After that 2008 crash that happened, a lot of people that were in retirement mode had to go back to work, including a friend of ours who was he was one of the top cardiothoracic surgeons here in San Antonio. And he had to go back to work, and he lost millions because of what happened on the stock market.
That's crazy.
So, and he was in his 70s and had to go back to work.
And he probably had to work pretty much.
Yeah. So, you know, when we sat down with people during that recession, and I would have these, you know, heart-to-heart conversations and ask people, well, what's your solution? What are you going to do? You know, are you going to go back to school? Is that even an option? You have 4 kids, you know, who's going to take care of them while you're at school?
Yeah.
You know, who's going to pay for your school? Are you going to get a loan? How are you going to pay it back? And just going back to school and getting that higher education is, it's not realistic for a lot of people, you know, just because of just because of their situation. And, you know, it's not an option for a lot of people. So, okay, so if school's not an option, then what else? What else can you do? You know, can you work another job? So a lot of people during that time went and worked a second or a third job, you know, if they were lucky, you know, because a lot of people were out of work at the time.
Yeah, I do see one pattern that I notice in a lot of people is when they think of income, they get in this idea that it has to all come from one source too.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, and if it's not a lot from any one source, then it's not worth it. And like even if you made any extra money is more money than you had. So I don't subscribe to that. I think it's always valuable to look for ways to create income in your life. And going back to taxes, saving on taxes, you get to keep more of that money by doing that. If more of your life is related to what you do.
Yeah. Well, and now, you know, I mean, I have a lot of friends of mine that got furloughed, and, you know, they're having to get really, really creative on how they're going to create income over the next couple of months, you know, or over the next year. I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen, you know.
We don't know when this is going to end.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, because I'm hearing now that this could last till 2022. Harvard put out in the Journal of, oh gosh, I'll post the link in the comment section of this video when we're done. But they're saying that we may see social distancing until 2020.
Wow.
So if that's the case, what are you going to do if you're out of work? I mean, what are your options? And I look at network marketing as an amazing option because you could get virtually started with no money, depending on what company you choose. And you can do everything online. You could build a business through social media, online digital marketing, Zoom. It's a simple business, but
Yeah,
it's not easy, if that makes any sense.
it makes a lot of sense. I've been in the business for 4 years. So, and I've had a lot of challenges. I'm not at as high level as you, obviously, and it's a lot of work. It's not easy money at all, but you got to commit to it, and you got to commit to change too, because of a lot of those challenges we talked about. And but it's a fantastic experience, just all the wonderful people that I've met and the growth that I've gotten to go through. So
Yeah, I tell you what, when your back is against the wall and your options are few, you got to get humble. I mean,
Les Brown says you got to get hungry, right?
yeah, you got to get humble, in my opinion, and you got to be hungry for change. Because if you're hungry, you could accomplish just about anything. And you know, my advice to people watching this video is right now is a time to be reaching out to people and networking, having conversations with people, building relationships, connecting, and because one thing that I know for sure is it's not always how much you know, but it's who you know. And you never know who you can connect with, that could be the stepping stone to a really amazing career or a business opportunity.
It's true.
You know, I know people that have amazing careers, and this is outside of network marketing, who don't have degrees, would have never had that career had they not known somebody who knew somebody who did them a favor, who hired them for a job.
I see that. I think that's a common thread in almost any success story. You know, you watch there's shows on Amazon and Netflix about successful people, and a lot of times they just got a job as a teenager, or they didn't know what they were going to do, and then they got into one particular business, and it just took off for them. So
Yeah, I mean, everybody, uh, yeah, my son's a good example. He uh, decided not to go to college at all. I think he listened to way too many Les Brown YouTube videos and Jim Rohn videos and Napoleon Hill videos, where he heard so many stories of people dropping out of school when they were 14, never going to college, being a bum on a couch. And then all of a sudden they had this epiphany, this paradigm shift, an opportunity came, and then they became very financially successful. And so both of my sons have both told me that they're not going to college. And I'm like, okay, but if you're not going to go to school, then you better get your butt in gear, because traditional education, I'm okay that they don't pursue. It's okay for me that they don't pursue that, because I've met way too many people in my industry and in other industries where people did not have formal education, and they're millionaires. They're very successful at what they do. But there is going to be education involved. Like whatever it is that you're going to commit to, there's an education that you have to get in that field of interest in order for you to continue to pursue it and get skilled at it. And as technology changes, I mean, we're always gonna, like, I feel like I'm in school, like school's never stopped for me.
it shouldn't stop. Life, unfortunately for a lot of people, when no one is telling them to do it anymore, they stop. But there's constant opportunities. And even my profession, when I decided to do personal training, I said, I'm going to study this like it's my profession. I need to do professional development regularly. And that's what ultimately led me to KSI and becoming a physical preparation coach. And I wouldn't be on my way to mastering that level of coaching ability and service if I didn't have that mentality in the first place.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been in this industry for 22 years, and it's never ending learning. I mean, I'm still, we built our business the traditional way. And, we have business all over the world, and thank goodness to technology. But in the beginning, it was meeting people one-on-one, meeting them in person, doing presentations in hotel rooms that would get packed with people for many, 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 many years. And then once Facebook and social media came around, it's like, oh, people don't really want to go to a meeting across town anymore, sitting in traffic, having to find a babysitter. So now us single moms with children get to stay at home from our computer, build a business, so it's awesome. And for gosh, it's just amazing to me that the amount of money that I've made in this business over the span of 22 years is ridiculous. I mean, if anybody wants to challenge me, I could show you my tax returns for the last, 10, 15 years, because I haven't thrown any of them out. I need to start burning them. But yeah. And for less than $800 and being a six-figure earner.
Right. And you can have that business and your monthly cost doesn't change, which is another incredible thing, because if you had that restaurant, you may be and you're growing or creating a new one, you might be spending more and more money every month to grow with it, but you're not doing that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have been some, there was at one point where we had a co-op going where we did billboards, but I didn't spend $5,000 a month doing one billboard. We had a bunch of people pitching in to put this billboard up, and we'd all share the leads. And, so we've done creative things like that as far as advertising and marketing goes. We've done advertising in newspapers back then when people still mainly read newspapers. But now it's like you're a constant commercial. You're like a constant ad on Facebook with everything that you post, and it's free.
Yeah.
You can pay, but I haven't, and a lot of people haven't. So yeah, I mean, and it's been amazing. I mean, I would say that if you're watching this and you've been that person, I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? Like, I take a lot of pride in our business, And I've seen a lot of other businesses out there that I have chuckled at. I mean, I'll be honest about it. I'm not going to name any of them. But there have been businesses where I'm like, why are people doing that? Like, that's crazy, you know? But hey, you got to do what it is that excites you. You got to do something that you could see yourself doing for a long period of time. And and you really need to be looking at the management of the company. Is it a good product? Is it something that people are really going to want? Is it something that people are really getting results with? Look at the business model. This industry pays in so many different ways, so you really have to know what it is that you're getting yourself into. Do the research and understand how you're getting paid, because some business models pay better than others. Ours pays very well.
Yes, it does. Good stuff. Well, this has been a really good conversation. I'm glad that we did this.
Well, I'm pretty proud of USANA. Pretty proud. The product is amazing.
I'm proud to be associated with them as a company, though, not just because the products are amazing, but just because of everything they stand for and that they try to do in the world as far as helping with the USANA Foundation and Sonavive and all of that stuff.
Yeah, we should do a video on Sonavive. I've been there a couple of times to visit. I've never, who we could get on with is Jennifer Douglas.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And do a video with Jennifer because, well, I don't know if she'd want to give details, but she's been out there before. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that the founder of our company also has an amazing health and wellness facility where people from all over the world, and we're talking like celebrities, politicians, I mean, that go out there to seek treatments for all sorts of things. And then the amazing results that people get from being there is astounding.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the few, I don't know of many holistic hospitals like that, or medical facilities where you can get such a complete service to preventative health, but also dealing with serious illness.
Yeah, I've had friends of mine that have been out there to get, because you can go just for rest and recreation.
Yeah.
And I think that's like $2,700 for like a week. And there's all these amazing treatments that you can get. I think the mud bath would be really, really cool to sit in.
I've never done that. I did the laughter yoga before.
Ha, 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 ha.
That was fun.
I have a laughter yoga app. I think it's an app on my phone. I haven't used it in a long time, but it's funny because the gal's like, now think about your liver and think about happy and grateful and joyful and you are about your liver. And then you hear all these other voices laughing in the background. It's hilarious.
That sounds really, it's it's so weird, but once you start laughing and doing silly things, it just starts kind of being contagious.
Well, some of the guys that I game with have the funniest laughs, and just them laughing makes me laugh, and I don't even know what the heck they're laughing about. And I've never met them in person. I don't know what they look like. It's just their voice.
Running wild.
What'd you say?
Your imagination is taking control. That's the best.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when somebody has a really nice voice, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, like when the telemarketers call or whoever calls, you've never met them and you're thinking, wow, this guy sounds like really, well, not you, but I'm thinking, wow, this guy sounds like really cute, And then I finally see him and I'm like, well, that was not that that voice came out of that.
Now I've had the same experience with women too. You're like, wow, she sounds really nice. And then they're like, oh, not really my type, but
the beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
We should do a video on that.
We could do, we might as well do a lot of videos, I think.
Is beauty really skin deep?
Well, we could have some philosophical questions on all of it.
was watching, okay, this is hilarious. And I know we got to get off here in a minute. I was watching Joe Rogan and this other guy on a podcast. And I saw it yesterday and I was going to send it. I'm going to send it to you because it made me laugh so hard. And it was about the beauty industry, the beauty industry, like how hard it is for people to live up to these unrealistic expectations that are put on us as women and men. We both go through it. But like, it's genetics. Like when you look at these models on these magazines, like, sorry, that is genetics. Okay. You know, I'm 5'5". I'm not going to be, 5'10". Okay. I mean, not even, I guess maybe with some high heels I could be, but I wouldn't be able to walk. It was the funniest freaking video. And this one, the guy that he had on as a guest, I'm trying to find it right now. He was talking about how he's like, if you're not that attractive, I mean, if you're ugly, you need to make sure you have a really awesome personality. Okay.
Well, look at Kevin Hart. He's like 5'2". He's short as hell, but he became funny as anything. And he's super successful for that. That's just one example to me that sticks out, because most guys, if they were 5'2", they wouldn't get attention from anybody.
So it's Bill Burr. It's Joe Rogan and Bill Burr.
I love Bill
This
Burr.
is so hilarious.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Unattainable beauty standard outrage. And
You
so he's like, I'm white, redhead, and bald at the same time. He's like, I have to work out hard, man.
His comedy is really funny too. If anybody likes watching stand up, he's really good.
And so, what's even more funny is when you go and read the comments on YouTube.
Did you send me the video?
I'm going to send it to you right now, but dude, this is so freaking funny.
I'm laughing already, and I haven't even listened.
Song that this friend of mine used to sing years ago when I was waiting tables at the Officers Club. And I don't know what the name of the song is called, but it basically goes like this. They call me Mr. Personality because I'm so ugly. It's a terrible song.
Well, I'm going to turn off live, and then we can keep talking about this.
Right. Sounds good.
Peace. I tried to turn it off.